Yeah, so, yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Very good. So, good evening, friends. Now, throughout the world, women entrepreneurs are rising much faster than male entrepreneurs. So, they are creating jobs, boosting development, reducing poverty. This is according to international statistics. This is also true of India. Women entrepreneurs of today are not just the daughters and wives of the Ambanis and the Adanis, but they are from varied middle-class backgrounds. And today, 5 women entrepreneurs from RCMS will tell us what they are doing. And they'll discuss the agony and the ecstasy of being women entrepreneurs while being simultaneously caring wives and caring mothers. Now, a few words about the 5 speakers. I'll be brief. Shyamala Jayaprakash, because you know, all of you know her very well. She runs a diverse and well-established educational empire, the Asha Group. It has schools and colleges, both generalist and specialist. She is our first lady member, our first lady president. She has supported or engineered club initiatives for numerous causes, including women. So I won't give you the details, you know them. Rotarian Asha Marina has a BE in computer science from Madras University and an MS in software systems from BITS Pilani. For some time, she headed a university computer science department. She is now director of a construction company that promotes flats in Chennai. And I don't know how many of you know this. She recently started a boutique for ethnic ladies wear and for diamond jewelry. And it has been the fructification of an old dream. She has been very active in Rotary as club secretary and president and is now treasurer. She is also the mentor for ANETs at the district level. Balasundaram is a senior IT management professional and the founder of Alert, an NGO that specializes in training for emergency management. Hewlett-Packard recently appointed her as the global lead for its emphasis HP partner initiative. I don't have details about this, but Kala will tell us. So she was the regional leader for Eastern Europe, Turkey, and Caucasia, and governance leader for India, the Middle East, and Africa. That sounds mysterious, and Kala will explain. She is behind several worthy CSR projects. For example, she nurtured the Burns Ward unit of the Kilpauk Medical Hospital. That's now a full-fledged project. Hema Rajanbabu is the co-founder of KRG Technologies, an 18-year-old IT services company which has customers across US, India, and Canada. She has handled corporate training programs in India, the US, and South America. She worked in the US for over a decade in the area of software programming. She has an MBA in finance and has 21 years of professional experience. Rose Ranjit specialized in nutrition and dietetics. She has a master's degree from Nirmala Niketan in Mumbai. She ran a preschool for 14 years and became headmistress of another preschool, then restarted her own school. She started Madras Bolangiri last year to bake bread and to turn out delicious tea cakes. She hopes to share her expertise for baking and cooking by writing a cookbook. And we are all eagerly waiting for that cookbook. So these are our speakers today. I request each of them to speak for 3 to 4 minutes, preferably 3 minutes, because with 5 speakers, that will make 15 minutes, and then we have a panel discussion. I request Shyamala to take the floor first.
Thank you, Madhu. It's really wonderful to be here, yet another Women's Day special. of RCMS. I was just wondering whether I can be, called an entrepreneur. But then the way education is, evolved, today education is the most competitive business, and I have realized that I am heading one, and a lot of businesses are connected to education, and so many business houses and trainers, and there are so many things to be done in education. But let me first tell you how I got into this business of education, if I should call it that. As you all know, that my father was a founder, and my father never had any faith in me heading this whole, this empire, as Madhu calls it. And but then I was assisting him, and I had to prove that I am good enough to take on from where he left. It took so many years. It's like Karunanidhi and Stalin, if you can really compare, something like that. But then finally I did get into his shoes, and before he died, I did prove, because when I got this whole education group of institutions into my hands, they had a lot, it was riddled with problems. So I started my entrepreneurship or running of these institutions with problems over my head. So that is how I came into this, and I think I have sorted out a lot of problems. And when you say that you're heading an education management services or a group of institutions, it's like, you're managing not only people, that is my strength. People management is my strength. But you're managing transport services, you're managing IT services, you're managing legal services, you're managing, you name it, you're managing everything. When you're running educational institutions, you have to be good and ahead of all these services. So that's tough. So that is what I've been doing all this while. And I think I'll give it to the other young people to come out with their, I had no problem with my family supporting me. I had no problem at all, including my father and my husband and my brother and my sons, all of them. When I had a serious problem with my with the CBI, it was my sons who stood by me and my husband who stood by me. So they are a rock solid support for me. Thank you. And I think I will pass it on to the next speaker, and maybe later on I will take questions.
Thank you, Shyamala. What you said about people management was very yeah. Now, Asha, Marina, please.
Thank you, Rotarian Madhu, for the beautiful introduction. And it's always been an honor to be midst of our own members here. I've already shared my...
Sorry, Asha, very sorry to interrupt. We're getting a lot of feedback. Is there mic on?
Maybe Shyamala should just go on mute.
No, it is from Asha's thing.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, friends. It's always an honor to speak in midst of our own members. As Rotarian Madhu introduced, I'm basically a computer engineer. So I was happily the head of the department of Bharat University for the computer science department. I was doing my best there, and teaching is my passion. So I was very happy there. But what was very spend time with my children. So by the time I could come back home, children will go to sleep, and then in the morning when I go back to college, it used to be so early in the morning, the children will still be in bed. So that actually pricked me. I thought I'm not doing justice to my children. So that was one reason I actually laid my papers down. I said I'm not going to work hereafter. And then I was enjoying my period with my children. I was so happy. But then at one point of time, I found that Kumar was struggling with his business all by himself. He had to take care of the finance. He had to take care of the technical side. It was too much on his head. And I thought I must intervene and take up a little bit of his responsibility. So slowly I started, civil was nowhere a cup of tea for me. So I was actually not getting into the technical side. So I thought I will just look into the finance so that, I have a better control over it. And slowly I started to look into the business, and I found there were so many loopholes, and so many people were taking advantage of Kumar's time management. Since he couldn't spend time managing the finance, there were so many people who were actually eating up the finance side. So then that was the time I actually put my foot down. I thought I must take control of it, and I became a full-time finance manager there. And later on, it was actually a proprietorship company at that time. So I was just working there, getting a very meager salary. Whenever Kumar found little excess of money, he paid me salary. That was how it started. So, but then afterwards, with God's grace, we started a private limited company, and both of us were the directors. Kumar is the managing director, and I'm the very safely Kumar put me as the whole-time director. So he said no other job for you, so you are a whole-time director. So that is how I put my foot into this construction line. And now the finance and the administration has become my responsibility. So I saw that Kumar was able to ease out a little, and he was able to concentrate more on the technical side. And of course, it was all running around. But at the same time, since it was our own business, I also had the satisfaction of spending time with the children. So that actually eased out, that guilt feeling actually eased out for me. So, I could balance family and the business too. And I'm happy that I'm part of the success what Kumar, is flying high today. So, and thank you so much for this opportunity today. So, as and when the question rises, I will keep answering. Thank you, Sadhanas.
Thank you, Asha. This, Asha has told us that she was into engineering and computer science, and then she got into finance. I think that's one thing that all of you entrepreneurs have to face. That's you tackle other areas of expertise. Now, Kala Balasundaram, you tell us about your experience, please.
Kala, you're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the friends in RCMS. Thanks to Madhu for giving me this opportunity to be talking along with people like Shyamala and Asha and others. It's really a privilege. I see me being here as an entrepreneur. I don't know, it's still questionable, because I see in my opinion, I see there are different ways of becoming entrepreneurs, right? One is like having a legacy or the foundation already being laid, and then you take over and therefore you become an entrepreneur. Like how Shyamala just said that, she took over her dad's organization or academic institutions, and how Asha joined Kumar's organization, so the spouses organization. The other one is basically where it is like necessity becoming the mother of invention, right? Like where there is a need, therefore you become an entrepreneur. That need could be a financial need or an identity crisis kind of thing. Mine is a kind of incidental entrepreneurship, wherein like, you chance upon some idea, some passion, and it consumes you and it doesn't allow you to sleep. And that idea starts gaining momentum, and then it becomes like an organization. It starts building into an organization. That's where I fit in. I'm an incidental entrepreneur. And the only difference is it is not a typical commercial organization. I'm more a social entrepreneur with a zilch revenue model for a profit. So in that way, that's the reason why I say I don't know if it is considered to be an entrepreneur, but I consider myself as a social entrepreneur. The journey has been very scintillating. Yes, the challenges are always there, but then that is what sort of helps evolve, right? So it's been a very, very a lovely journey. I feel the only difference between a successful, when you say there is a successful entrepreneur and between a successful entrepreneur and a social entrepreneurship is like, when you become successful as an entrepreneur, there is a sense of power, right? You get a sense of power and accomplishment and achievement and all that. But in a social organization, the more you do, the more you become humble, because you realize that what you're doing is hardly even a drop into the ocean. So that actually makes you more and more humble, and so there is never a sense of accomplishment. You always feel there is so much to do, and what you've achieved is hardly there. So it's been a very, very gratifying journey, and I'm sure in the course of this discussion I'll be able to share more. Thanks for the opportunity, Madhu.
Can you tell us a little bit about this? You were appointed the global lead for the Emphasis HP Partner Initiative. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so I'm so happy to also in this share that I've had the privilege to work with Shrikant as my colleague at Ford, while at Ford. He was a senior manager then, I was a business analyst. So it was wonderful. So when I actually joined RCMS, it was wonderful to see him there, and it was really nice. So my journey was in IT has been really very organic. Started off, as a trainer, and then a junior programmer, senior programmer, and then a project manager, product manager, program manager. It's been an extremely organic growth. So when I joined HP, which was my last company, I just quit HP recently, a year and a half back, to be full-time with Alert, my organization. In HP, I played different roles. One of the roles that I played was, Madhu, where I was the interface between HP and Emphasis. When HP acquired Emphasis, I became the interface between both the organizations, and to seamlessly, transition. And then after that, I moved on to the global roles that you just read out, to manage the different accounts. One of the major accounts was Procter & Gamble account, which was the key account of HP. So this is how my role evolved, actually.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
May I request Hema Rajanbabu to speak?
Thank you. Good evening, all. Thank you, Madhu sir, for this opportunity. And as Kala said, necessity as the mother of invention, I would rather say that this was the reason for my entrepreneur journey. I did my schooling in Sharda Vidyalaya. So during that time, speaking English itself, I would rather say I would be inside the shell, and I wasn't very comfortable in public speaking or going anywhere. During that time, I had a need wherein I have to take care of my family. So I started developing an application for a small customized software for inventory management and all those things. So at that time, with the help of the scholarship and everything, I did my corporate secretaryship. Once I completed my corporate secretaryship, I thought, okay, my job is going and getting settled as a secretary. That's how they call those days, either as a PA or a secretary. So I was looking out for an opportunity. At that time, I would rather give my entire credit to my mom, because with the little money what she had, being a single mom, with the little money she had, for me and my brother, she spent the entire one for doing a computer course for me. She believed on me, and I did a 3 months residential computer course, which really transformed my life, I would rather say. Because till that time, I wouldn't prefer to stand in front of, people. But after finishing that computer course, the first job, because at that time, the job opportunity what I had was just a trainer. So when I was selected in the education and training department, and when they told that I have to handle the first class, that's when I felt whether I can do it. But I cannot, lose a job. So obviously I have to. So that's how I got into getting into the training. And I would say every woman, if there is a need and necessity, obviously I will strongly say that along with the support from your family members and everything, the journey starts from there. So, and then I was selected by the IBM as a corporate trainer, and I traveled to US, then South America. When I went to South America, I did not know anything in Spanish. All I knew was just, I would say como estas or mucho gracias, that's it. With that, I handled the Spanish course, computer programs and all those things. Then came the important transition in my life. Like once we got married, it's 100% arranged marriage. So we both wanted to get settled in one place. So at that time, like in US, like being in the work visa, like we thought what would be the best. And both of us shared, like, like the unique, he was good in sales and I was good in finance. At that time, we thought what would suit us. And we thought maybe starting a business will, will transform our life. But, like the finance required or anything, that time it was tough. And being in a work visa, we cannot take a risk. So what I did was I continued my job, and we both together like started IT company like KRG Technologies, which is an IT staffing and development company. Right now, we have 500 plus employees in US, Canada, and India. So I would rather say like after my marriage, the entire life got, changed. And I was being given an opportunity, like, we both together, we just, like complement each other, which helped me to grow more. So I would only say that never ever give up. Since I'm a first gen entrepreneur, I always feel every woman is capable to become an entrepreneur. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah. So your company, it's based both in the US and India, is it? The
Yes.
KRG Technology. Okay.
Yes.
How many staff in the US?
US, it's 350 employees.
Oh my God. And here in India?
In India, it's 180.
Oh, and Rajanbabu is involved with
As we all know, Rajanbabu is very good in sales. So he's completely involved in sales. And I'm completely involved in finance. So which is really a problem. All these days, like work from home, we are literally fighting, like, both ends doesn't meet always.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask Rose Ranjit to speak, please?
Thank you, Madhu, for this wonderful opportunity. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, I thought of it only after my daughter Maria started going to full day school. But anyhow, having said that, ever since she was 3 months, I used to take cookery classes from home. And I have taught a lot of ladies in and around Ananagar. When Maria started going for full day school, that is in 1998, she was just 6 years old. I happened to see this property diagonally opposite that was owned by a friend of mine. It was a very cute little house with a huge outdoor space to play. And then I thought, and I called up this friend, and then I thought, we thought together that the only thing we could do with such a place was to start a preschool. And it was a very inclusive preschool. We used to invite parents, grandparents, have a lot of functions in school. And I learned to play the guitar to make the sing-along sessions, much better. And after step by step, which we ran for 14 years, I was asked to set up the preschool at Union Christian, decide the syllabus, what I wanted. And I still remember giving admission to the children of 2 auto drivers. I did not consult the higher management on this. They just told me that they would pay the fees. And to the higher management, that was most important, meeting the fees structure, and they were so grateful. And it was amazing the way that they used to dress up their children, so neat. I mean, I never made a difference between a child coming in from an affluent background. No, giving education to all the children was my focus. I mean, I made it a point to increase the number of children in the 5 years that was there, from 20 to 35, 40, increase it by 5, so that I could give admission to, the less fortunate ones. And after that, in the year 2017, I came back to Ananagar to start my own preschool, but it was just starting to take off, and COVID hit us. So then I decided to shift gear and move on to another passion of mine, which is baking. Ever since I got married, I've really been interested in baking. And this was the opportunity to, turn that passion into a reality. And I tried out a lot of recipes, and there was this specific area which I was very interested in, and that was bread making. And I really did not want to put a very ordinary bread out into the market. So I worked on flavors. That is like, at the moment, like I have about 4 or 5 flavors in the market, like a caramelized onion, and I have a spicy garlic, and then I have a Madras masala loaf, and then, olive with olives and olive oil. And I wanted to put into the market specialized loaves, and not the small loaves, but big loaves where, there were no dough improvers, no additives, just plain fresh bread rolled by me and baked in an oven, and no machines used, no additives. And, if you follow the instructions that we put into each loaf, you could keep a loaf for over a week without, the only thing we would say is not to microwave the bread, because that's dry heat and it would remove the moisture of the slice of bread you were, you had put into the microwave. But, with a good family support system, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. And I come from, Ranjit, of course, encourages me, and he's given me a free hand to choose and do what I like. My son Nikhil is a businessman, and he has a lot of inputs to put into this small home venture of mine. And my daughter Maria takes care of social media. And, as of now, I'm in a happy space, a fine balance of, I teach children too, English, maths, and Hindi, not only from Chennai, but I have children from Bombay, from Bangalore. So, the mornings is kept for baking, and I take limited orders, and evenings I do my online session. And there is a fine balance between all these three, baking and keeping in touch with children, and listening to them, and of course, looking after my family. So like Julia Child says, you shouldn't think about putting out complex and, very fine dishes. You should think about rolling out good food with ordinary ingredients available in every Indian kitchen. So that's it about me. And I'll wait for your questions.
Do you have staff assistants? How many staff do you have for the baking?
No, it's only me, and I have another person to help me out at home. That's it.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
And we were fortunate, because we opened Madras Boulangerie in November 1st. In fact, I took the first order on my mother's birthday, October 27th, and delivery was on November 1st. And we were featured in the Chennai Times, one page, on Madras Boulangerie. So that did prep up things more up faster. It moved faster, the clientele. And I would also like to add that most of my clients are not from Ananagar, but I would say Alwarpet, and I have some from Adiyar, from KK Nagar, Ashok Nagar. In fact, today's orders have gone to Kelambakam. So, it's kind of varied. I'm happy that we are able to reach out far and wide in Chennai.
Thank you. That's quite an amazing.
So just a minute, Mother. Sunita was one of her students in
Yes.
cooking classes.
Yes.
Before, she knew Rose before even I had met her.
Yeah.
So that's quite an amazing variety of talents that we have in RCMS, and this it has been most impressive. Now, there's one question I would like all of you to tackle. Now, what has been your number one problem as an entrepreneur? Starting with Shyamala, your number one problem as an entrepreneur. And I would like all of you to answer this question first.
Madhu, actually, as I told you in the beginning, I really don't know when I became an entrepreneur because, as I told you, education services has turned out to be the most aggressive and most competitive field. So when I came in, if you ask me, I did not have any problem as far as business was concerned. It was about the people. So I felt that I had to I realized that was my strength, and I maximized my strength. And we did have problems with parents and some of the teachers when I joined at that time. At that time, my father was facing that problem, and I joined only to help him out. So that would be the only problem I faced. And after that, I don't think we had any problem. Mine is a different kind of entrepreneurship. I wouldn't call it, as somebody was like Kala said, it's not exactly as we do more, we get a satisfaction. So the reason why we started Asha Memorial Association itself is for the promotion of education and also for cultural activities, cultural and literary activities from Kerala. So, it's a different kind of, but then today we are focusing more on education, and also the competition is more, and we are growing. So problems come from, as far as education management is concerned, it comes from all sides, but definitely not from the family. It is within. It is only within the business and within the running of the institutions. Because managing so many people of various degree, various backgrounds, starting from the class 4 workers to the doctors in our dental college, it's a spectrum of the character of people whom we are dealing with. And that is what is the challenge which I have. And of course, the finance part. Finance is now being managed by a professional, so it is only about the management of the people, because it's all about people. Education is all about people, which the students, the teachers, the parents, and all the employees. So that is the difficult part. I did not have any problem as far as the beginning, in the beginning or starting, or because I came after it was established. So I really did not face any problem to establish that. It's my father who faced the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Asha, what has been your number one? Sorry.
Initially, when I was working in the college, time was the problem for me.
Some disturbance.
Shyamala ji, you must mute yourself. So time was the problem for me. So when I worked in the college, I always earned for being with the children. But then when I got into the business, I could spend more time with Kumar, which was actually lacking when I was working in the college. But then sometimes, that was actually the establishing time for us. We actually were struggling to establish the business. And then it was actually a sort of pricking conscience for me, where I couldn't spend time again with the children. But then I had a very supportive parents, both Kumar's side and my side, where they actually came and supported us and took care of the children. So then I had to really analyze, how am I going to prioritize, what should come first. So then out of experience, it was very chaotic. I had made a lot of mistakes, even when I had to take charge of the finance also. So I was actually blindfolded, and when you're being left all by yourself, what will you do? It was in such a condition. But then each and every step we had to carefully put one step ahead, and we had to rectify the problems. And again, I had to clearly think and prioritize what should come first, what should come second. So depending upon the situation, say if the business demands my time, more time of mine, so then I had to give my time, and whereby when the children required my time, I had to find some substitute where my parents and Kumar's parents were the only support where I could take their help from. So then they came into play. And then slowly, as years passed by, I became a little more organized. So I said, let me put the priority. So I said, first is family. Being a lady, I have to take care of my children. I have to give a priority to my family first. Then comes business. And then later on, when the business little established, I was much interested to give back to the society. I wanted to get into some social service too. That is where this Rotary also came. And now added to that, I'm also a Freemason now. So then, prioritizing your time is very important. And that was the biggest challenge which I faced at the initial days.
Thank you. So, right now, the property business isn't booming and COVID hasn't helped. So has this been a big challenge?
It was a big challenge, sir. It was very, very challenging. The 1 year was, we were just eating up only on the savings. It was a very dreadful time for us, but God's grace, we somehow scraped through, and it is improving now. It's not come to a standstill. It is improving. Of course, the challenges are there. It isn't that rosy as it used to be, but we are still facing challenges, but it's okay now. Comparing to last year, it's a bit okay now.
Thank you. Is Kala your number one problem?
Okay, so in my case, the major problem was the cause itself, the cause for which the organization was started, right? Wherein the whole cause principle behind this organization is there shouldn't be any life lost in a country because of apathy, because people do not know what to do, or because of their inhibitions towards legal systems, court, and things like that. But when this idea was not letting me sleep, and I felt that something needs to be done. Every person I was going to, they were not able to relate to what I was talking about. So that was the first hurdle, like for instance, the first two people I went to was one very, very senior cardiologist in a very reputed hospital. I said, right on your road here, OMR, there are so many accidents happening. But these are simple life techniques. If you teach people, we can save lives. Why can't we do something about it? Because I'm not a science graduate, nor do I have any kind of exposure to medical, the science part of it. So I reached out to him, why can't we do something about it? He said, Kala, this is India, we cannot do much about it. As a doctor, even if I see an accident, even I don't stop and help. So that was like a slap on my face. I thought, how could a doctor say that? And then after that, I approached my uncle, who was a very, very senior neurosurgeon in Coimbatore in KG Hospital. You must have heard of that. Now he's retired. And when I said, why can't we do something like this, uncle? And he said, Kala, you're in a career, as it is, you have a very hectic career, and you have 2 children, and you don't get enough time for the family. And this is India. Don't try to churn the ocean, because people's attitude will not change, and it's a waste of time for you to be doing all this. So I was getting these kind of comments wherever I was going. So, however, in fact, if I have to say, such comments or such, when I heard such comments, that I became more convinced that I need to do something about it. Actually, that actually made me more convinced that I have to do something about it. And that's how the organization started. But then even after it started, wherever we go, the initial days, for almost 9 years, we were giving out these trainings for free, be it for a corporate, be it for the corporation schools, colleges, wherever. But everywhere when we used to go, apart from my work time, weekends, we used to go and approach people. When we say, please get trained, this is a life skill, and we will do it for free. We'll have the doctors come and do it. But the thing was, people always looked at me with a question mark. What is she talking about? Is this actually a need of the hour? Because people are were able to still, that's the case. I'm talking in the present tense because that is still the case. Because people are still able to relate to an old age home or an orphanage or even environmental issues. But then this is something that people are not able to connect to. because, and that requires a little bit of a vision to see that this is like a license that you take for today. You don't take a license thinking that, something will happen for me today, but we feel that in case it happens, we need to be prepared. My family needs to be prepared. That's exactly where we were coming from. This is a life skill. Just spend 3 hours or 4 hours once, maybe in a lifetime. And this is not for somebody on the road. This is for yourself or for your family, which people were not able to. But really, thanks to Rotary for breaking that. My sincere thanks to Rotary, because that was one of, and I was not a Rotarian then. I was not an Ann. I was, of course, I had a lot of friends who were Rotarians. It was Rotary who first acknowledged the fact that there was that this skill is something really required, and they started helping me to take this over. So if I have to say that this was which is my major challenge, this cost by itself was a major challenge, but now thanks to all the corporates and with COVID, the awareness towards this has actually increased, and now we are getting more and more requests on this. So it's taken me a journey of 15 years to be, where I am today.
This Hema, what has been your number one problem as an entrepreneur?
I would say that my traditional mindset and family being my first priority is always the number one problem. Because even in 2019, like where my elder one, I had to travel with my elder one for different competitions. So at that time, we had like growth in Europe and Middle East. So that's during that time, like our thinking was like, let's kids grow up and then we can diversify and then go big. Let's sustain it in the same way. And let's strike a balance between the work and home, and always, having kids as the first priority has, that would be the biggest problem, what I would say as an entrepreneur.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have one question, Madhu. So I'm using my handset. Earlier, Hema had said hers was a 100% arranged marriage. I just wanted to know, can there be a 75%, 50%, or a 5% arranged marriage?
It can be an arranged and love and arranged marriage, right? So 50-50.
Oh, all right. So you mean that way? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
This Rose, your number one problem as an entrepreneur.
I really haven't faced any kind of such a problem, Madhu, because I've been working from home, and Union Christian was no problem to me at all. I just went in and did my work. But with regard to the first preschool that we ran for 12 years, getting the license was a big problem, because, the officials used to call us at odd times. And even on a Sunday, they used to call up and say, we are in Rajanbabu having lunch, come to your school and keep 5,000 with you. And I remember going in for the last inspection with my friend, and she picked me up and we went to school, and this guy came in a taxi and he got down and he said, where's the 5,000 before entering the school? So we gave it to him in a cover, and then he went round, and on his way out, he looked at a stool where the children used to sit and do their art craft. And he said, I don't have a stool under my table to put my legs on. So please bring that also and put it into the dicky of the car. So, it's kind of weird that, they look at these small things, and it was okay for me. I mean, we dealt with it all. We used to go and sit in DPI for hours together, but we just did it all on our own. No problem at all. And I think there's enough space for all to grow. So as of now, with baking, there are a lot of bakers in and around Annanagar, but I think if you maintain your quality and build your own brand, that's it. You have space to grow.
Now, one question for all of you. Now, people management is what distinguishes the entrepreneur from the executive. Now, I know that Shyamala is being naturally skilled at people management. How about all of you? Has it been a learning process, or are you also quite talented and you have a flair for people management, or did you acquire it slowly? This Asha? Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is a evolution, I would say. So initially we found it little difficult managing people. And then in our case, as far as construction is concerned, it is a varied set of people. We have to deal with the laborers, and then if it is finance, we have to deal with them in a separate way. If they are architects, it requires a different sort of dealing. So then it requires a lot of patience, first of all, to deal with the laborers. It is very easy to lose your temper. So I learned a lot of patience. I was a very, very short-tempered person initially, but then this process has made me a very patient a person. I would, pat myself for that. So it is definitely a big lesson we should learn, and it is actually a sort of counseling also. Even without mastering a counseling session, I think working with the employees and tackling their problems, only if they are happy, I think they can work sincerely for us. So in fact, every day I used to, in my prayers, I used to place all my employees and the laborers for them to be safe and sound, for them not to get hurt anywhere. So it is actually a learning process it has been a learning process for me.
Kala, what would you like to say about people management?
Yeah, so the people management is a skill I acquired while I was into my IT management. And I think all through my IT career for over 2 decades, I've always been a people's manager. Meaning both managing people in Chennai or in Bangalore, or Pune, or even across the globe. So, and basically, I feel that my tolerance levels are pretty high. And also, I am a people's person. I consider myself as a people's person because having managed a team size over 100 people and having difficult conversations during appraisals, mid-year discussions, kind of talks, sort of, I think I'm very, very comfortable to manage people, or even when I have to communicate share some difficult feedbacks or critical feedbacks, or having a difficult conversation. So in that way, it's never been a problem for me. And with my current organization with Alert, it is not a problem because there it is more of volunteer management in my case. And when you're dealing with volunteers, it's like dealing with friends or family. So it's not a problem for me, Madhu.
Hema and people management.
So people management is something I learned from a corporate training experience, like traveling to different, like across in US, different states and in South America. Now, like for last, I would say after we all moved back to India. So the last 5 years, I'm extensively into, like, I would rather call me as a chief empowerment officer. And I always people management or HR is close to my heart. Even though like my expertise is finance, but till now, whatever the problem and everything, like I'll be the first person. And with all the 178 employees in India, I have a very cordial relationship, like by which they'll call me at any time for any problem, no matter whether it's a personal or official or whatever it could be. So they have a feel that I'm one among them. So that all, like those trainings, I actually learned it only from the corporate trainings of how to, speak with people. Because when I was finishing my 12th or I finished my college, I was the one who said I cannot handle any training or I cannot be in front of people. But the 21 years of, IT experience changed me a lot.
Madhu, you're muted. Madhu, you're muted.
Thank you. Am I audible now? Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Now, has any of you faced a major crisis, and what was the crisis and how was it resolved? Anyone? Shyamala, Asha, or Hema, any of you?
My day starts with crisis always, because running so many institutions with so many areas of work, like we used to have close to about 50 buses at one point of time, and every day there will be an accident or some major breakdown. My day starts with that. So we realized that we should bring down the number of buses. That's also transport management. So, you know, that is one, that is a small crisis. But there have been a lot of crises which I cannot mention here. But I'm very confident that any crisis I face, I know that I can get to the bottom of it and solve it. I mean, I don't keep it for the next day. I will solve it then and there. So crisis is a part of my life. So that's all I can say about my crisis days.
That's fantastic. I mean, the ability to tackle the crisis immediately and not leave it for the next day. Not many people can. Yeah. Sorry, Asha, Hema, Rose, Kala, would you like to talk about that crisis?
There has been so many challenges. I think Shyamala, so life hasn't been easy at all for me. It has been full of challenges. So to name a few, middle of the night, sometimes when we have the concrete work or something, we used to get the news, a phone call from the supervisor saying that labor has fallen down from the 4th floor and cracked his head. You know, then we are in this hospital, they want the owners to come. So then immediately, of course, I will not go. Kumar used to rush up there, and you know, my heart used to be so heavy. You know, if the labor dies, you know, we are unnecessarily getting into a lot of issues. So there has been so many incidents like that. Now connecting to Rotary, when I took the presidentship, that year again has had some extra challenges too. Just 2 weeks before the installation, I had to face a big challenge where Kumar collapsed all of a sudden in Singapore, and not knowing what happened to him, his friends called up, and I had to just leave everything. You know, it was a big installation. You know, all of you know that Nagoji was our DG from the club, and there were so many responsibilities to be met. But then I had to leave everything. Of course, I had a strong team who supported me. Not thinking, I didn't even know that whether I'll be back for the installation, you know. So then I had to rush to Singapore, and then this happened exactly 2 weeks before the installation, you know. So but of course, God was gracious enough. He brought me back, and exactly one week before the installation, he brought him back after the surgery. It was a major surgery for Kumar. So these are few instances I could think of, you know, right now, connecting to Rotary. So life has been full of challenges, but I really thank God, you know, for facing such challenges. It has made me a stronger person, I would say. So like Shyamala ji said, no, there was no procrastination, no, not just avoiding to face it. We had to boldly face it and find a solution to successfully.
Thank you. Kala, any inputs on a major crisis?
Like every other organization, Madhu, like there have been multiple challenges, like how Asha, Shyamala were saying. I don't think there would be anybody without a crisis, be it major or small. There will always be a crisis, because as they say, you know, behind every strong woman, there are multiple challenges faced, and one that makes the person stronger. And my attitude towards any problem or any crisis, be it personal or in the organization, it's always like this too shall pass. Because be it when I was a career woman, while I was in different IT organizations, I've gone through a number of financial crisis, if I have to say familial crisis, which we have come out of it. And then with the organization itself, because ours is an organization solely dependent on CSR projects, on donations, on sponsorships, things like that. Even if I have to say, talk about the immediate, I mean, the ones that we are still going through, the COVID by itself is a huge crisis for NGOs, because we are dependent on projects, we are dependent on donations, sponsorships. And while organizations themselves are struggling to cope and bounce back, where is the question about training and where's the question about CSR or donations? So while several social organizations have actually disappeared during this last 1 year, especially I'm talking about NGOs, we were really busy battling with the situation, and thankfully again this too shall pass. God has been really kind with us, and we have sort of managed to come out of it. And I'm sure, this is going to continue for a while. So the crisis will continue, but it is a game. So it's just about how we play the game, and whether we reach the destination is not even a question. It's just about how we enjoy playing the game. That's about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Hema?
Yeah. See, crisis, as Kala was saying, at different levels. Maybe when I was a corporate trainer, first time traveling to US, and my connecting flight got cancelled, early morning landing up at 1 o'clock in North Carolina, no one to pick me up. I didn't know where to go. I had only the hotel name. So these kind of crises, I think everyone would face. During entrepreneurship, I would rather say, after we founded the KRG, we went to two or thrice the recession period. And right now, if you see, when we started, we were basically with the work visa. So obviously no loans or nothing would be given for Indian citizens because we are already in the work visa. But now if you see, during this COVID situation also, since we moved back to India, we gave away all our, residency status and everything in US. Now they claim us in US saying that you are an Indian citizen, foreign national. So we wouldn't give any privileges to you. So everyone are facing that problem, we would say, but this all will also go. So obviously, during this period, what we all thought is, along with all employees and everyone, we have a wonderful setup which is there, which would help us to cross through even this tough period.
Thank you. This Rose, I think you said you didn't face major problems, right? No.
I have not faced any major crisis.
You are fortunate indeed.
Yeah.
This, I have a final question. If you had to live life again, would you choose to be an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur in the same field? And would you do anything differently? Starting with Shyamala.
Madhu, I would like to be born as Shyamala Jayaprakash. With all the challenges, all the crises, all the problems, I love my life. I love what I am, who I am. And I love Rotary. I will be a Rotarian also. So I think I'll be the same. I would like to be the same, be born the same. Thank you.
Excellent. This Asha.
Yes, I love this life. So definitely I'll be an entrepreneur again. Might be indulge in more businesses too, if God has a plan for me. But I'm really thankful that my entire family are entrepreneurs. Son, daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and both of us. It's actually a blessing, I would say. So it is the sort of instructions too we feed the children. We tell them that it is always good to be an entrepreneur. So if given another chance, I will definitely be a better entrepreneur, of course. And this Marina's boutique again it's my passion to start one. So it was a long time dream. So now I found the time after settling my children. So then this I've started. And I love dressing up. I love to wear jewels. So that is where this Marina's boutique has come into my life again. So I've started this with a lot of passion. So I just share the joy with all my friends too.
Thank you. Thank you. Kala, please.
Yes, Madhu, I wouldn't have it any other way, like everybody else. Be it the family where I was born into, my childhood, my schooling, the person I married, my children, everything has been such a blessing. Ups and downs have always been there, but I think that is what makes the life spicy and fulfilling, right? So I wouldn't really have it any other way. I would still be the same person. I would want to be the same person.
Very good. Thank you. Hema.
Yeah, as I saw both the ends, I would for sure would love to be an entrepreneur. because this has created more employment and empower more employees, women employees. And I'm being blessed with a good family, with my in-laws, my mom, everyone put together. But the only change what I would prefer maybe would be like not co-founding a company with my spouse, because being in sales and finance, two opposite, like always. Prior to work from home, it was easy because we leave away everything at work and we come back home. But being work from home, like we had to fight also at home only now. So that's the only change what I would prefer.
Thank you. Rose, would you like
I
anything
wouldn't
different?
want it any other way, but Madhu, sometimes when I sit back regarding education, okay, I went through a beautiful phase, but when I look back now at the present passion that baking that I'm doing, I wish I had started it about 10 years earlier. Then, so by now, I would have built a brand. I mean, if 50s is the new 30s, it's okay. I have a long way to go, and I'm up for any challenge, and I enjoy what I'm doing. So good, all good.
Thank you. Thank you. President Sujesh, is that time for questions?
I'm off video because I need to get my power back here. The power just went off. Now, Madhu, after today's evening speech, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I'm a bit confused. If I'm given a choice to swap my life with one of these 5 ladies, I'm just wondering whom I swap it with. All the 5 have given a fantastic feedback. And the only thing that really stopped me is having Ranjit as my husband. Okay. That's the only thing which is giving me a second thought. Otherwise, I'm ready to swap my life with any of these ladies. Saying that,
Sujesh,
thanks a lot.
don't worry.
Yeah.
You have a dilemma, no? You can be with the dilemma. Andamma. Not Indamma.
Ranjit, please don't take everything to heart. Huh? And I'll be a fantastic wife, don't worry.
Sujesh, knowing you, I'm not going to get married to you in India, don't worry.
So, no.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, so this meeting stands adjourned. Sorry, the power is really havoc here. Yeah.
I would like to
Thank you, ladies.
I would like to thank you.
Yeah.
It's been quite fascinating. And, the way you have taken up your roles and the way you have succeeded. And it's quite heartening that all of you love your life as Shyamala puts it, and you wouldn't be doing anything else if you were morning. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Hello. Hello. Yes, speaking. சொல்லுங்க. So I think we have spoken earlier, right? Okay. Correct, correct. No, no, we are still looking outங்க. என்ன பார்த்துட்டு தான் இருக்கோம். Yes, how about you? Okay, okay. But I think you wanted, your son wanted somebody in Hyderabad itself, right? No, no, we were okay with it. We were okay with her moving, but I thought you said your son wanted somebody and he didn't want anybody from Chennai. So that's what you said last time. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Last time, actually, we spoke. I hope you remember last time we spoke, and then after that, you said you will check with your son. You said that he was traveling, and then after he came, you said that she's an MBA and she's working with Infosys for the last 5 years, 5.5 years now, and she's the lead for the robotics team in Infosys. SRM here, SRM in Chennai. Yes, I'm working. I'm an IT management professional, and I'm also running an organization called Alert. In fact, I was on a call for that only. So I run an NGO here, 15-year-old organization, and my husband is into business. And my son is, he was also taking care of the business. He's going back to US to join McKinsey. So he'll be there. He finished his undergrad in US, and he will be going back to US for his McKinsey job. And after that, maybe a year or two, he'll do his master's there, I guess. His son is younger. Son is younger, yes. She is 7th April. Tomorrow is a birthday, actually. 7th April, 1989. And I think your son was 88, right? Okay. Last time I sent it to you. I sent all the details to you. Okay. Height must be 5'3" or something like that. The exact height as such, I don't know. I think she'll be around 5'3". Because I'm 5'4", she's slightly shorter to me, so which is 5'3" must be the thing, is what I say. Yeah, Hyderabad has the biggest campus actually for Infosys, and then Mysore, and then Chennai. So of course, Hyderabad has a huge campus for Infosys. Okay. 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 Absolutely, absolutely. So, okay, I thought I didn't realize that you were from Hyderabad. That's why I was talking in Tamil. So, no problem. Okay. நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா? சாப்பிட்டீங்களா? Okay. Okay. All right. Your son is actually running an organization, right? Running a company here. That's what, running a company. Okay. Okay, that is okay. I mean, I think last time when we spoke, you asked me the same question, and she was okay. In fact, I even spoke to my daughter about it. She was okay with it. But then I think you spoke to your son, and you said that he wanted one thing. She did a BCom honors in corporate secretaryship, and then she did a thing masters in SRM, and then after that she went and joined her husband's her father's business, and then we we are into exports. We export knitted garments to US and worldwide. So we have units, manufacturing units in Tirupur. So basically, he shuttles between Coimbatore and Chennai. So in Chennai, yeah, clothes business. We are exporters. We are 100% exporters actually. Wearing clothes, I mean the t-shirts. So we supply to companies out there in worldwide companies, and ours is a very exclusive